Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. That sounds terrible, but at least the entitled mom knew what she did was wrong. A lesson learned for her: don't try to steal a mermaid's tail. They might drown. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. EM tries nearly drowns me trying to take my $300 plus mermaid tail. Let me start off by saying mermaids are real people. Sort of. Kind of. Ish. This is something that happened literally within the last week or so. A few months ago, I purchased a silicone monofin. Think diving flippers except fused into one piece and shaped like a big fishtail, and a pretty fabric skin for it. When I got them in late fall, I had nowhere to use them due to the cold. But we had a family trip to Cuba planned for this February, and I was excited to break it out in the ocean. The fam and I get onto the beach, and my brother and I head out into a quieter area to hang out and swim. We get out into the water, I put on my fin, and have a great time. I forget that I probably look crazy. As we head up the beach and hang out in the shallows, my brother heads back to grab a drink, and I stay put for a bit where I can just sit and enjoy the water and sun. This is when entitled mom heads over with her child, a cute little girl who looks to be about 6. At first, she starts speaking to me in French, but then switches to English when it's clear I don't understand her. She compliments my tail, her daughter babbling that she's never seen a real-life mermaid before. EM equals entitled mom, LG equals little girl, me equals guess who? EM: so where do you rent those things? Me: oh no, this is mine actually, I brought it from home. EM: what? You're kidding, huh? They must have somewhere to rent them. Is it near where you get on the boat trips? Me, trying to laugh off the awkwardness: no, I really brought it from home, sorry. EM seems surprised by this, but then reaches into her fanny pack and pulls out a few pesos. EM: well, we'll just rent it from you. Here, go get yourself a drink and we'll give it back when we're done. Me, flabbergasted: I'm sorry, ma'am, I don't rent it out, I just have it for my own use. EM, starting to get frustrated and thrusting the pesos at me: no, it's fine. My daughter wants to be a mermaid too. Now, a little something about monofins/mermaid tails: they can be extremely dangerous if you aren't careful. They're big and awkward and your legs are stuck together, so you have less control while swimming. I myself had to practice with another fin for a long time before this one, in a pool where things are more controlled, and I never use it without another person around just in case something happens and I need rescuing. The only reason I was alone at this point was because I was sitting in shallow water and my brother would be back within a few minutes. Another thing, they're expensive. After price, shipping, and exchange, I paid well over 300 Canadian dollars for mine, and that's cheap. Side note, pretty sure she was trying to pay me like 5 Canadian dollars, which converts to something like 4 American dollars, but whatever. I try to explain this to EM, along with the fact that my tail is adult-sized, both the fabric skin and in the feet pockets, and that this makes it even more dangerous for her much smaller child. But she's having none of it. When I finally give her a final, firm no, all hell breaks loose. EM: just let her use it for 5 minutes. I'll pay you. She proceeds to grab the end of my fin and pulls. It wasn't very hard, but I fall back into the water, flailing, ironically, like a fish out of water, getting salt water up my nose and in my mouth. EM drops my fin, embarrassed. LG screaming in terror: Mommy, stop! You're killing the mermaid! Or at least this is what my limited understanding of French leads me to believe she said. Me, coughing up salt water: what the hell is your problem, lady? EM, knowing she's made a fool of herself: well, if you'd just let her use the stupid thing, this wouldn't have happened. All of the commotion alerts a man who I believe is her husband, who comes rushing over, apologizing rapidly in French. He scoops up their daughter and nearly drags his wife away while she sputters in embarrassment. My brother returns asking what happened, as he'd seen the man hauling butt to get his family away from me. I'm left dripping and shocked. The least they could have done was pay for my next mojito. And our second story: first contact with Karen. Okay, that was my first time on USA and my first contact with a Karen. I'm a 30-year-old guy traveling with my family to Miami to shopping and stuff. There was a nice mall in front of our hotel, which I believe I can't say the name, but since it's a very famous shopping mall with a marine mammal on its name, let's call it whale shopping. The shopping mall is big and very exciting. It was pretty fun to see different people at the same time and plays from all over the world. I went to a clothes store and bought something for me. Suddenly, a female customer, let's call her Karen, approached me. Karen, excuse me, do you have it on larger size? At first I thought something like, you know what, I want to help this lady. I looked around and found the same shirt in which appeared to be a larger size. Me, I found this one, take a look. She took it from me and then gave me back. Karen, okay, I'll buy it. Me, okay, and gave her back. When she stared me back, I realized what was going on. Me, oh, I don't work here, I'm sorry. She took her glasses off. Karen, okay, can you call the manager, please? Again, I know I probably take the wrong decision, but it was my first travel out of my country. I really thought that the best thing to do was try and help and then leave. So I went to a guy at the register and told him what was going on. That lady thought I worked here. Now she wants to talk with the manager. I just tried to help. I'm sorry. The guy gave me a smile, trying not to laugh, and said, Guy, Wild Karen appears, oh? I got the Pokemon reference from there, but at the time, I thought she was a well-known customer named Karen. The guy was going upstairs to find the manager. Since I was so trying to help, I made my last and unforgivable mistake on my life. I called her. I approached her and said, Me, Miss Karen, the guy on the register was Karen. How dare you? Who do you think you're talking to? I got pale. I just froze while the entire store was looking, lifted up my hands the exact way I'd do if I got robbed or if a crazy dog was barking at me. For about 5 minutes, which felt like an hour, she was saying all sort of things. Slowly, I was approaching the register, as if I was a little deer scared by a wolf or a wild boar. She was following me, of course, step by step. I saw the manager approaching as my great white horse knight, ready to protect me from that dragon. Karen, I demand you fire this lazy employee. Wasn't that word, but okay. The manager took a look at me and I slowly dropped my hands down. Manager, okay, lady, this guy tried to help you for what I was told, but he don't work here. Karen seemed to be satisfied. Karen, you Latinos are just lazy, aren't you? Manager, if you don't back off and leave this store, I'll call the police and me and this guy, pointed at me, are going to press charges for racism. Karen left. Man, I was like, what the heck just happened? The guy on register asked me if I was good and explained me what is a Karen. It took a long to realize things like, so because of how I look like, it doesn't seem like I'd be a customer too, and crap like that. Oh, and the employees realized that I didn't want to leave right away to not risking finding Karen again. Then they started to joke about, first Karen we'll never forget. There's a Reddit about it here. So you were a Karen virgin. Just lost your Karen virginity. The girl on the register suggested to call her Whale Mall Karen and told me about her experience on Karens. Found a Karen and new friends at the same day. And our last story. Neighbor believes public parking space should belong to him, slashes our tire. This happened just a couple of months ago and I thought I'd share with you guys. EN entitled neighbor, AN awesome neighbor. Some context. Where I live, houses don't typically have driveways. If you have a parking garage in your house, the street parking space in front of it is considered yours as well and not legal for someone else to park on without your permission. If you don't have a garage, though, that street parking space is considered public and anyone has the right to park on it anytime. The only instance in which it's not legal to have a car in a public space is if you're using it to abandon the vehicle, i.e. leaving it there for a ridiculous long amount of time without moving it. Now to the story. I used to live in a small apartment complex. There were 6 apartments distributed between 2 floors. None of them had a garage. I didn't used to have a car until my boyfriend moved in, so I never really paid attention to parking spaces. When he moved in, he started leaving his car in front of the apartments on the very legal first-come, first-served spaces. Well, 2 of the downstairs neighbors seemed to believe that since we were living upstairs, we were stealing their places because they were in front of their apartments and they should have them for themselves. Not sure how they wanted us to park up in the air. We had that discussion with them multiple times, told them to get a government permit to make it exclusive and rightfully theirs, and we'd stop parking there. Those permits are crazy expensive. They didn't get them, we kept parking. One night we go out, get in the car, and realize that one tire has been slashed. Really weird, but we just change it without adding 2 and 2 together. The next day, Awesome Neighbor tells us that police officers had attended a report of an abandoned car, our car. Apparently, Entitled Neighbor thought it would be really clever to slash our tire to make the car look abandoned, and then open an abandoned car report on it. This way, police would come and tow our car, freeing up the space and costing us a lot of money in the process. When we looked up the report, the guy had said that we hadn't moved the car in months. We moved it at least 3 times a week. Since Awesome Neighbor saw the officers inspecting our car, he went down to talk to them and explained that the car belonged to us, that we had it in constant use, and the report was fake. It helped a lot that we had changed the tire right away before police went to check out. The most frustrating part about this is that Entitled Neighbor would come up with multiple trash cars that barely moved all the time, and he would take up 5, 6, or 7 street parking spaces at a time, so he did understand the concept of public parking. He just believed everyone should give up their parking rights to him. We tried talking to him after the incident. He was way too coward to face us, instead sending his wife, who told us we needed to have empathy for him. Anyways, now we've moved to a place with assigned parking per apartment, and so far, no entitled neighbors around. Clearly, there's no empathy possible for this kind of behavior. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.